أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمد ولا سله الكريم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's Ponder with Dr. Suhail Anwar. Today we are going to discuss about the Firqa in Islam, Taffaruqa, deep division in Islam. If you like the video, please subscribe and click the like button. Thank you. Unfortunately, in this day and age, Islam seems to be studded with disputes, deep division, and Taffaruqa, Firqa. And it looks like we can't get out of this. And in fact, some of the divisions and some of the disputes are so subtle that one becomes a bit surprised that why we are arguing with that. Let alone, fighting. We shouldn't be fighting in this sort of mild differences. The differences are such that as if I'm wearing a brown shirt and this man is wearing a blue shirt, and I don't like him because or vice versa, and yet we start having this sort of discussion and the Taffaruqa against each other. Though we are aware that all of us, whichever sects we belong to, we strongly adhere to all the 5 basic pillars of Islam. But yet we become so angry with each other that we give fatwa to each other, and over the span of centuries, these differences has become so magnified that it has boiled down to many sects in Islam, unfortunately, which is a very sad thing. I feel that why do we fight with each other in this way when Allah Ta'ala has already said in Surah Hajj that it'll be me who is going to do the justice between the differences. So we shouldn't be worried about that actually. One day I was in a small mosque in our hospital in England. When I finished my prayers, I met with one of my colleague, and we started discussing about the Firqa and Taffaruqa in Islam. And he said, brother, we shouldn't be having differences in Islam anyway. Especially we shouldn't have deep differences. If we have any differences, we can sort of sit down and discuss with each other, and come to some sort of resolution rather than becoming angry towards each other and fight with each other, which is not a good thing. Even if the disparity among the concepts are deep, still we should not fight with each other. And he gave me the example which I knew in the past, but he shared with me the example of the story of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. I'll be very short in that because so that we can go fast. That when Hazrat Musa alayhi salam left his elder brother Hazrat Harun alayhi salam in charge of Bani Israel, and he went to the mountain. And when a lot of days passed by, the Bani Israel started to getting impatient, and they started to go back to their old religion, and they started worshipping a calf of gold. And so 50% of the Bani Israel became murtad. Though Hazrat Harun alayhi salam had 50% of his own people with him as well, but he took a very diplomatic way. He tried his best to resolve the situation, and he was buying time for his brother to come. And but he took the pathway of discussion. He didn't become aggressive with them, even though that at the expense of fear of his life. So when his brother Hazrat Musa alayhi came back and saw the situation completely changed, he became quite angry, and in fact, he became a bit physical with his elder brother, and and asked him why this thing has happened. Why didn't you interfere in the situation? At that time, the beautiful reply which Hazrat Harun alayhi salam gave to his brother Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, which is written in Surah Taha in verse 94. Qala yabna umma la ta'khuzu. Don't pull billahati wala birasi, with my beard or with my head. Inni khashitu in taqalu farraqta baina bani Israila wa lam tarqab qawli. The translation in English is, "O son of my mother." In old Arabic way, they used to call it this way to each other. "O son of my mother, don't seize me with my beard or with my head. Indeed, I feared that you would say you cause division among the children of Israel." Division, Taffaruqa, Firqa, creating dispute. So I caused division among the children of Israel, and you did not observe or wait for my word. Now, imagine we have a situation where we have a messenger of Allah, Hazrat Harun alayhi salam. He had a status. He was not an ordinary person. He was in charge of the Bani Israel at that time. He had power. 50% of the Bani Israel converted to became murtad. They started doing shirk. That was a grave sin. He could have waged war because he had 50% of his own people around with him. But he took a very different step. He started negotiating with them, started talking to them, being more diplomatic with them, um, and gaining time for his brother to come, because the only reason which he was thinking that if he is going to become aggressive, he is going to create deep division among Bani Israel, Taffaruqa among Bani Israel, and he knew that Taffaruqa or Firqa or Fitna is worse than murder. That's written in Quran. Not in one place, two, three places it's written in Quran. Um, but unfortunately, nowadays, in this day and age, um, people do not care about creating tafarqa, but they sometimes do cause tafarruqa, do cause firqa, do cause division in Islam for the sake of gaining status, for the sake of a bit of a money, or to win an argument. So, in fact, in Quran, at numerous places is written that don't get don't indulge in dispute among each other. In Surah Anfal, in Surah Al Imran, in Surah An'am, in Surah Al Anbiya, and in Surah Mu'minun, and other surahs as well, Allah Ta'ala has clearly said that we should refrain from disputes, we should refrain from tafarruqa and firqa, we should refrain from having deep division among the Muslim Ummah. Um, that reminded me that once I was reading that Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to his Sahaba that a time will come that Muslim Ummah would be very weak. Sahaba Ikram asked, Ya Rasulullah, would we be very less in number? No. Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam replied, he said, we'll be the number, as far as the number is concerned, we'll be like the froth on the sea. We'll be so much in number, but we will be weak because we'll be divided, unfortunately. And this is what is happening nowadays. I'll give you a very nice example which I observed in England quite a number of years ago. I saw there were two new grocery shops were coming up on either side of the street. Both were same area, same size of the grocery shop, same capital were invested, and there were two brothers on either side were actually in charge of the start of the business. But there was one difference. On the left side of the street, the grocery shop, the two brothers were very cooperative to each other, and they were very sincere to each other. Whereas on the other side, on the right side, they were always indulging into division, dispute, fighting, and they were not sincere to each other. 10 years down the line, on the left side of the street, the grocery shop on the street, the business flourished like anything, and both brothers actually bought 3 more grocery shops in the area. Whereas on the right side, there was a sign of for sale. They were bankrupt. Objectively, if you see, both had the similar opportunities, but subjectively, inside, subjectively, if you see, there was a big difference. They were willing to work with each other. They were not in dispute on one side, whereas on the other side, they were against each other. They were not sincere, and they were in dispute. And therefore, the people who were in dispute, they went bankrupt. And this is exactly what we are doing. They were fighting with each other and destroying each other, destroying our beautiful religion. We don't need outside people to destroy us. We are fully capable of destroying our own religion ourselves, unfortunately. Napoleon Bonaparte once said, "Do not disturb your enemy if he is making a mistake." The world is watching us. They are not disturbing us. Think. We are 1.2 or more billion Muslims in the world, and we are scattered. We are scattered like anything. Why? Why do we have this problem? I studied a bit and I found out that there is nothing big wrong with each other. What happens is that we dive deep into the nitty-gritty of the concepts of each other's concept. And when we dive deep into the nitty-gritty of the concept, we come up with faults. And on that faults, we magnify the fault and we say that we don't like that particular sect. They are not right people because they have got this problem. Because they have already magnified the problem so much, they start getting hatred, animosity, and anger. I'll give you another very practical example. If you go to France, in a museum, and see the most beautiful and marvelous creation of a painting by Leonardo da Vinci. Yes, I'm talking about Mona Lisa, the portrait of Mona Lisa. So beautiful and so perfect. It's the best painting of all times. But, friends, if you go very near to this painting, and if you concentrate on one place, one side of the painting, and go very near to about, let's say, 4 or 5 inches, and see that painting so close, you will only find strokes, haphazard strokes of paint and nothing else, and you will not like it. That's because this painting is 500 years old. But you come out and stand about 20 feet away, this is the most beautiful painting because you're taking a panoramic view of that painting. This is the same thing happening with us Muslims. We deep down go into the deep of our concepts of Islam and start getting the old brush, and we don't like it. What we have to do is to stand aside at a distance and see the panoramic view of this beautiful religion, and therefore we will not fight with each other. But unfortunately we don't do that, and we keep on calling each other kafir for some small things. May Allah give us tawfiq to forego our differences and to attain united and stable Muslim Ummah. United and stable Muslim Ummah will be the only situation where we can flourish in this world, in the challenges of 21st century. I hope you like the video. If you like the video, please subscribe. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.